this isn't easy to make, you know? And after having several discussions with several people yesterday at PNC Park, I still want to make it. Good morning to you. Good Monday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 6, Diamondbacks 0. A nice bounce back for the club in general after the 3-game humiliation against the White Sox. The Pirates going 5-1 on the remainder of that homestand. Paul Skenes did his thing yesterday. 6 scoreless innings, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, 3 hits, 20 whiffs. Dude had 20 whiffs. You know, every once in a while, I think it's worthwhile to just step back and go, wow, to some individual stats, like really specific stats. 20 whiffs in a game, 7 of them on the sweeper. The Arizona guys just couldn't touch, even when it went right down the middle. What else? O'Neal Cruz scored from first base on a single. That was cool. Brian Reynolds scored from first base on what ended up being a double, but it still looked like it was almost as much work. And yeah, and you can't take it too far because their overall record is 44-62. They're horrible on the road, and there they go flying out to San Francisco now for 3 against the Giants. Heck, who knows if that'll even afflict them in Denver when they go and face the miserable Rockies after that. But they're not the kind of team, and they certainly don't have the kind of roster where you can just casually state, oh no, don't break them up. Don't make any trades. Don't send out some of all that pitching so that you can get back even a little bit of hitting. Don't do any of that, except that there are 2 pertinent points to be made here. One is the one that I've been making ad nauseum for months now, which is that this general manager has no business making any trades, nor does he have any business holding on to the job as long as he has. But the other pertinent point is that despite how it looks and despite the totality of the result, there are indications, and really significant, I think, indications, that the Pirates already have, these Pirates right now, already have some of the hardest pieces that there are to acquire. That, of course, being starting pitching. Why? Because starting pitching is really, really expensive. And in an unfair economic system like the one Major League Baseball has, you're either going to be able to draft and develop starting pitching, or you're just not going to have it. Well, they have it, obviously, at the highest conceivable level in Skenes. They have it in Mitch Keller. It took Mitch a while, but Mitch came around, and Mitch has been, for about 3 years now, a legitimately valuable starter whose value would be a heck of a lot easier to appreciate on a winner. You also have some other starters. You have some other possibilities for starters. You have some prospects that you have reason to believe in. But you won't find me going one name past Skenes and Keller when it comes to certainty. Why? Andrew Heaney and Bailey Falter might not even be here after this week. Jared Jones has a challenge ahead of him. Bubba Chandler's taken a significant step backward in Indianapolis. That's not alarming. That's fairly normal. You actually kind of want that in a way, but it's still happened. And a lot of these other prospects that have been seen on and off as being sure things. Thomas Harrington was in the top 100 of all of baseball, and now he's not. Braxton Ashcraft's been touted. Carmen Mlodzinski was supposed to be a starter, and then he wasn't, and then he was again, and now he isn't. You just don't know beyond those 2 starters. After the game yesterday, and after Skenes was done with his usual media session at his stall, he and I had a one-on-one talk about this team heading into the trade deadline, about this team's future heading into 2016. I'm going to play some of it for you here, and I'm going to open, in case the audio sounds a little confusing for you at the very beginning, by asking if he shares my stance that this team isn't super crazy far away from anything.
About your belief in this team, and we're coming to the trade deadline. I'd never put you in a position to say, hey, say something about what the GM should do or whatever. But this team's not that far, is it?
It's not. I mean, and we didn't think we were that far either last year. So there are obviously moves that we need to make. I'm not the GM, so I can tell you exactly what those moves are. I mean, we've thought about it. We can play GM and do all that, but with the deadline coming, obviously we need to make the team better for next year, and hopefully put us in a position where we can make some moves in the offseason too. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. That's what I'm hoping. I know that's what a lot of other guys in the locker room are hoping, because I think obviously on field we have some guys that have grown this year, that have gotten better. Other guys that have probably underperformed a little bit.
Their career norms. And right?
As opposed to
legitimately underperformed.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's room to get guys that we have better. There's room. I mean, we've seen some guys like grow. I think O'Neal's grown this year. I think Nick has grown this year. And that'll continue, I think. So just got to find players that are going to put us in positions to help them grow, I think. We don't have losing players necessarily. I think we have players that need to be taught how to win.
Just a footnote here that's some of the most candid comments I've heard from Skenes related to anybody. Easily the most candid conversation he and I have had on what's generally not the easiest subject to bring up, especially with a young player. And I'll add that there's not a blessed syllable in there that I disagree with. When we come back, J1Q. If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Alan Bialovas, who says, DK, just how historic has the start of Paul Skenes' career been compared to Hall of Fame pitchers? Has any pitcher ever been a Rookie of the Year and then established themselves as a legitimate Cy Young candidate in his second year? There's going to be a ton of different metrics that get applied to these sorts of discussions and debates, Alan. And there's also going to be just, intangible things that get brought up. Dwight Gooden really jumps out for the way he broke onto the scene with the Mets in the mid-'80s. And when you're talking about a century and a half of the sport, there's a lot to pick from. Now, that said, as you and I are speaking right now, Skenes has a 1.83 ERA for the season. The next lowest is Tarek Skubal's 2.09, which isn't close. More impressive, Skenes' 1.83 ERA is almost a mirror match for his 1.89 since getting to the big leagues. In his first 45 appearances, and that's how many he's made now, 45 starts, he is the only pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball, dating back to at least 1893, to have a sub-2 ERA and at least 300 strikeouts. Now, why is that significant to bring up the 1890s, other than that, it's also part of baseball and all that other stuff, was that pitchers back then pitched a lot more innings. Like, they pitched complete games. That's just the way it was. They didn't throw this hard. They didn't have the injury risks. Whereas, as we see every time Skenes is out there, you're getting, 5, 6, 7 innings, depending on how they're trying to be smart with him, with the pitch limits, with the inning limits. And as we recently saw some of the rollback around the time of the All-Star game. Well, in yesterday's game, Skenes logged 99 pitches in 99 feels like degrees. Not an exaggeration on my part. That was official at PNC Park grass level. And he withstood one sequence very early where the Pirates, in the bottom of the first inning, thought it'd be a good idea to let Zach Gallen get away with a 5-pitch inning. I'm not kidding. 5 pitches. It was 1 minute. 1, 2, 3. Everybody sat down, which led me to ask Skenes this afterward.
Did you even sit down in the second inning? The 5-pitch inning?
Yeah, before that? Yeah. I think, I mean, we have a fan down under. I sat down for a second, got some water, and then went back up. To an extent, I like short innings because it just, you don't have time to settle in. So probably could have used a little bit more rest, but it was obviously fine.
So, he goes out there. He gives up a 1-out triple that actually could have been caught by O'Neal Cruz, who otherwise had an outstanding game. Skenes, of course, strands that guy at third, mostly coasts the rest of the way. The best answer that I can give you, Alan, is that I don't know. I'm not able to access, enough baseball history to stretch back to the Civil War. I can say with confidence, and I've done this previously, that this is already the most gifted pitcher in the history of this franchise, which is 144 years old. And he very obviously is off to one of the best starts that anyone's ever seen anywhere. And I hope you also, as a little bit of a bonus today, got to get a little glimpse as to what he's like off the field, how much he pays attention to his teammates, how much he values his team, and how much he wants to win. Because I'll share this with you as well. He, not me, he kept that conversation going. He wanted to talk about this. Good for him. My goodness, that future is so bright. I appreciate the question, Alan. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.